All right, it is now the bottom of the hour, 12:30 on your Sunday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brandon Richards, joined by meteorologist Courtney Aitken. We now have some information coming in over the last half hour that we'd like to share with you. And this one is a little bit more pressing, Courtney. We now have word of a mandatory evacuation happening along the San Saba River in the city of San Saba.
That's right. So we've talked earlier today about flash flood warnings, but this is kind of as serious as it gets. So people are being strongly recommended, mandatory, to evacuate if they are in this part of San Saba County.
And when you have a graph over there that you could show of
Absolutely.
the major flood stage, right?
That's right. So the San Saba River has been collecting additional water as we've headed throughout today, and now we have a newest update to our graph that shows that we are in the major flood stage. I think, Brandon, that we've seen at least a 30-foot increase in this river river level, goodness, and now we're at that major flood stage.
Yeah, and so this is the order of the mandatory evacuation. And I'll kind of just read it out for you so people can get a good sense of what's going on. The National Weather Service has issued a flood forecast for the San Saba River to crest higher than 31 feet by midnight tonight. The San Saba County, I should say, is under a disaster declaration from the county, the state of Texas, and federal. County Judge Jody Fowley, and I hope I said that correctly, hereby orders a mandatory evacuation of the following areas in the city of San Saba. Any individuals or residences located south of the San Saba River, east of Highway 16, that is High Street, and north of Highway 190 and Wallace Street, you're now ordered to evacuate. This is a mandatory evacuation for San Saba County. If you're watching us in the Austin metro area and you have friends and family that live in the Hill Country in San Saba County, we're going to ask you to kind of be the person who can tell them to pass this information along. Tell them you heard it here on Spectrum News 1 that they're calling for some mandatory evacuations in San Saba along the San Saba River. That's one thing we're watching, Courtney. Let's zoom out the picture because now Austin itself is beginning to get in on some action, and we now have a flash flood warning for Travis and Williamson counties. This will run until 3 p.m. this evening. There you go. The heavier rain beginning to move into downtown. We can hear it here at Spectrum News 1 in downtown Austin. We're starting to see some of those reds kind of pop up there. How much rain have we seen in the last hour, Courtney? I'd be very curious to see that.
In the last hour, let's see. I can give you the last three here while we're looking. And I mean, even within the last 3 hours, while we've been tracking current conditions, it does look like for parts of the Austin area, parts of Travis County, we may have already picked up at least 3/4 of an inch. That query there wanting to put in 2 inches. Wow. Close to Lakeway. So, I mean, it has only been raining here in Austin for, I don't want to say more than 30 minutes now, and we're already seeing some really impressive rain totals. Still some pretty steep rain rates, especially where you see that red and the yellow. So this is going to be an active rest of the day, I think, Brandon.
Yeah, and we're hearing the rumbles of thunder here now outside the studio here at Spectrum News. And so this is very heavy rainfall, and I'll bring you in, Courtney, just over this radar image to kind of talk about it. Yeah. Because I feel like all morning, everyone who's been watching us in Austin has been talking about, goodness, look at the flooding that happened on the Lampasas River, that's been happening on the Llano River. And you're thinking, well, it hasn't really been doing much in Austin. Now,
well, here you go. Here you go.
Now we're finally getting that heavy rain. And I think the focus is going to be on the fact that we have wet soils. It's not going to take much to produce flash flooding. Also, Austin is a city of concrete.
That's right. So you have to keep in mind the kind of, we call it nuisance flooding sometimes, those concrete areas. They're going to get that runoff that happens pretty quickly. So urban flooding will be a concern for today. Parts of Travis County, as we just saw, already may have picked up right around 2 inches. We're looking at each other because we're hearing the thunder right now outside of our studio. So this is just the beginning of what's going to be a pretty active day. And some of the latest guidance from the Weather Prediction Center now has the Austin area under that level 3 risk for excessive rainfall. Yeah. Now that is a big deal. It's not something you see every day.
And we've been talking about it over the Hill Country. the uncertainty is there. That's why they went ahead and put Austin under this heightened risk of flash flooding. The question was, do these storms move or do they sit over Austin?
That's right, because one of our higher resolution models had this cluster of storms that you're seeing play out right now, had it traveling out to the east during the rest of the afternoon. But that's just one potential outcome. A model never guarantees the way things will play out. And it has been hit or miss. You know, we have to be honest. Over the last week, the forecast has been difficult with all the moisture that has stayed in place. And that's part of the reason why it is raining right now here in Austin and still for parts of the hill country.
Yeah. So Zach, if we can, I want to recap what we've had so far this morning. Let's show some flooding video. We have the limp. Okay, this is Kerrville. This is some video we've had that came in earlier this morning. They had around 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in about a 2 or 3 hour period. Now, we've been kind of monitoring the Guadalupe River there over the last couple of hours. Thankfully, we haven't seen a giant rise over a period of time. And can you repeat that for me? What is this? This is the Guadalupe Park River, okay? And you kind of see the flows there. It's been a little bit elevated. You can see the trees. That's from the flooding that happened over a week ago. That's just kind of telling of what we've been seeing here in Curry County. Do we have any video of the Lampasas River by chance? That's a major one that we're also tracking. It's in major flood stage. There you go. I mean, look at that. That's right over the roadway here, Courtney. And we've been watching this all morning.
This concerns me. These type of views really concern me. You know, I think the majority of issues that happen when we get flooding of any kind are when people are driving and they think that they can drive through the water. But the thing is, you do not know how deep it is. And I think that some people may also not know that it doesn't take a whole lot of water to sweep you off your feet or even your car. It only takes, what, 6 inches?
6 to 12 inches,
and
right?
This looks like it could be a good foot or so of water there on that low water crossing. And views like this could be common as we move throughout the rest of the day, and the situation will only get more dangerous after nightfall. And here's our updated excessive rainfall outlook, now including Travis County and even Austin under that level 3. It's a level 3 out of 4. So that is on the high end when it comes to that risk of flooding.
And I get it. It's Sunday. You want to be out. I understand. But hey, you can sit here. You can watch us here on Spectrum News 1. We're going to continue to cover the flash flooding risk at the top and bottom of every hour, giving you live updates. So stick with us here.
Well, it is now 1 o'clock this Sunday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Courtney Aiken alongside meteorologist Brandon Richards. We continue to track the heavy rain threat here across central Texas. We do have some good news, though, as we join you at the top of the hour. The rain starting to break up. It is starting to look a little bit better for some areas, which is a relief after what it's been today. Yeah, and even last night.
Right, and it kind of blew up over the hill country earlier this morning after midnight, and it just persisted. But thankfully, as it's moved closer to the 35 corridor, which we were worried about, you know, the Austin metro area and San Antonio, it's sporadic now. It's more scattered.
It's more scattered, which is definitely better than seeing widespread heavy rain because our ground is very saturated. It can't really necessarily handle that right now. But either way, we do still have that level 3 out of 4 risk for excessive rainfall. So just because we have some good news for you right now, that could change as we move into the afternoon and later this evening. Here's a closer look at the Austin area. Flash flood warning still in effect for Burnett, Travis, and Williamson counties through 3 o'clock. That's going to be for the western area there where rainfall, thank goodness, kind of starting to break up a little bit. So not quite as heavy as it was an hour or even say a half hour ago. So that flood warning in effect till 3 o'clock. Just be extra careful if you're out and about, especially in those low-lying areas that do tend to flood. These are rain estimates over the last 6 hours. We're looking at some areas out to the west of Austin, Westlake Hills, Lakeway, looking at more than an inch, and then closer to Marble Falls where you see the yellow. That very well could be closer to 2 and even 3 inches of potential rain there. So kind of just depends on where those heavy downpours end up. That's where we're going to see the flooding. We do have some new video coming in. I do want to go ahead and take a look at that. I believe this is coming out of Kerr County. Is that right, Zach? All right, yeah, so these are some road closures in Kerrville. Thankfully, we're starting to see the rain let up in Kerrville, but we definitely saw some issues there earlier today. And Brandon, we were talking about mandatory evacuations ongoing in San Saba County. So that is something that we have been monitoring today. And unfortunately, just kind of a side effect of getting so much rainfall within a short amount of time.
It is, you know, we didn't really fully grasp what we could see today until last night. That's
right.
How guidance worked. It was very similar to what happened on the 4th of July. It was the day before we really kind of knew how much rain we were going to see. Now, thankfully, Kerr County didn't see the worst of it, right?
That's right.
But still, parts of the hill country saw over a foot of rain, and that did cause some other areas to have some pretty high river flooding.
Exactly, and we have to keep in mind too, it's all falling within the watershed, and so we're going to see those reservoir levels go up, which is a good thing, but the LCRA will definitely have to continue to carry out flood operations. I know that they did open up at least one floodgate earlier this morning. You can sign up for alerts, by the way, on their website so you know kind of what's going on if you do live close to one of the dams or one of the Highland Lakes. But all of this water, point being, it has to go somewhere. So even once it stops raining, we're going to continue to see runoff probably through the next couple of days. For now, though, we do have a flash flood watch in effect through 7 o'clock tonight. So continue to remain weather aware across central Texas, the hill country, extending all the way up toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We'll have more updates as needed here on Spectrum News 1. Stay with us for continued coverage.